It's entitled Informing American Muslims About Living Donation, and we'll be working on this project for, I think, the next 2 years probably. And it's partially going to be in Chicago, so I think especially for people from Chicago, this might be really interesting, and there's ways for you to get involved. Before I'm going to go into the project details, I'm going to quickly talk about the research that led up to this research project. So part one will be about American Muslims and organ donation, and I'm going to talk about organ donation attitudes, and then supplement that a little bit with some focus group data. And after this, I'll introduce the project. So Dr. Padella has done extensive surveys before with Muslims and explored their attitudes towards organ donation. The first one that's quoted here is from Arab Americans living in Michigan, and it was a representative population sample of over 1,000 people. And here he found that 35% held deceased organ donation to always be justified. Conversely, 20% considered it to never be justified. So you can see that there's different opinions. And because this was Arab Americans, he compared Muslim and Christian attitudes, and he found that Muslims are 1.5 times less likely to support organ donation compared to Christians. And for those of you who were there on Saturday, we've had these questions in our trivia. Then he moved to mosque-based research. So this second study is also in Michigan, but it's with specifically mosque populations, Arab, South Asian, and African Americans. And here you can see that 39% supported deceased organ donation, but 55% believed it to not be ethically justified. So we can see that this percentage of thinking it's not permitted or not justified goes up. So then he moved into focus group data, where he wanted to explore more what is it that Muslims actually believe about organ donation. So I analyzed some of the interviews that were conducted in 5 mosques with 43 Muslim women, all conducted in Chicago. And I'm going to highlight only 2 parts of what we looked at. The first one is that we asked these women, what do you think, what is the Islamic perspective on organ donation? So we asked them about the ethical-legal permissibility of it. And for those of you not familiar with qualitative work, I've categorized their response and like the frequency of the response per focus group and how many mentions there were. So the unique mentions are the number of people. So we saw in 3 out of 5 focus groups the permissibility of organ donation came up, and 4 people said that it was permissible to donate your organs. Then in 5 out of 5 focus groups, people said it was impermissible, and there were at least 9 people who said they believed it to be impermissible. But we can actually see that the majority of people, so this was in 5 out of 5 focus group, but actually 17 unique mentions, were uncertain or ambiguous and were not sure whether their religion permitted organ donation. So I'm going to show you a few quotes from the data. The first one from someone who believed it to be permissible. And she said, as far as helping other people, that's the way you can benefit someone else. I thought I understood that organ donation, was halal. Then there's also someone who said it was impermissible. She said, because as far as I know, I talked to my dad and everybody, and they said that no one is allowed to do it, organ donation. And then for the ambiguous group, this is a representative quote. It says, I was talking to my husband the other day about organ donation. I don't know, according to Islam, or is it still controversial that we cannot donate organs? So here you see that there's actually different opinions and also uncertainty about whether organ donation is permitted. The other thing that was asked is, what would actually be your preferred source? Like, where would you want to hear, where would you want to learn about organ donation and the Islamic and medical perspectives on this? And we can see that the major sources were religious source and medical source. But the medical source was still saying a Muslim physician. So everyone is looking for some religious guidance to address this question. So here's a quote from someone who said a religious source should be sought. And she said, what I'm saying is make your choice, and a well-informed choice. Get enough information from religious scholars, then you are making a choice but informed. And the medical source says, yes, there should be an association of Muslim doctors where if you took this topic to them, maybe they can do more research, and it is connected, as in they're connected to each other. So given this information that was coming from these focus group data, data, the project was set up, informing American Muslims about living donation. And this is a mosque-based project in Chicago and in DC, where we're actually going to mosque and we're teaching Muslims about organ donation as well as end-of-life care. And this project is led by, of course, Dr. Padella, and Milda Saunders is a co-investigator. You heard her talk earlier. And the third person on the research team is Michael Quinn, who is a behavioral scientist here at the University of Chicago. So this is the setup of the project. There will be multiple mosques involved, and each mosque will get 2 workshops, one on organ donation and one of end-of-life care. And then at 3 points in times, we will assess people's knowledge and their behavioral beliefs on organ donation. And this assessment is what I'm going to ask your help with later on. So what are these workshops actually designed to do? And this is really important because there is a difference of opinion among the scholars, as we've seen today. There's a difference and uncertainty within the community, so the workshops are specifically designed to present a balanced perspective on living organ donation as well as end-of-life care, but I won't go into that right now. So the goals are to, for the medical knowledge, speak about the benefits and the risks, much like what you guys did today, and also from the Islamic arguments, present the ones in favor and present the ones against. And the goal is to actually help people make their own informed choices instead of telling them, this is how it is. And the interesting part about this project is that we have peer educators who will lead group discussion. So part of it will be teaching by Dr. Padella and by Dr. Saunders and by Dr. Quinn. And then part of it will be that there's peer educators who will lead a discussion with the Muslims there to help them think the topic through, think about the pros and cons and how it would relate to their own life. And the benefit of this is that it will allow for free-flowing conversations and for sharing and comparing views. And it's been actually proven in research that this is a really good way to engage with ethical dilemmas where people have to balance multiple perspectives. So then, most importantly, how can you get involved? So today I would like, after the session, if anyone has time, and I can sit down with a few people and present some of the survey questions that I've developed. Survey development is very rigorous, and it's really important to know that what you're measuring is actually what you intend to measure. So some of the questions I created are just like feedback. You don't have to answer it necessarily, but just have to get to a point where what I'm asking is what you're understanding. And then after today, because it's a Chicago-based project, we're looking for peer educators and we're looking for mosques who want to collaborate on this project. So if you're interested in any of these, you can come find me or come find Dr. Padella somewhere in the afternoon. That was it. Does anyone have one pressing question now? Or